So hello everyone. I'm sure that you've all heard about the RAM crisis. Prices are going through the roof. People are comparing the RAM to gold and are even naming it the new Bitcoin. It has become a luxury item. Even some people are buying whole pre-builds for the RAM. And today my job is simple. Explain this crisis in the simplest way possible. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. So to start explaining, I want you to imagine this. You're a RAM manufacturer. By the way, there are only 3 manufacturers that produce almost 90% of the RAM in the world. They are Samsung, Hynix, and Micron. Remember this piece of information because we're going to need it later. Now, an AI company walks to you and says, "Hey RAM company, what if we give you $1 zillion and you make us a ton of RAM?" Of course, you won't refuse because a chunk of money is coming at your door and you won't slam the door at its face. But the question is, why are AI companies interested in the RAM? Because if we break down AI, it's basically data, and data needs to be moved fast, and the fastest way to move it are RAM. But the problem is, AI companies don't use the same RAM that I and you use. No DDR4 or even DDR5. They use a dedicated RAM called HBM, and it means high bandwidth memory. And this HBM is no normal stick RAMs. It's 10 times faster and 10 times more hard to produce, but it's 10 times more expensive and 10 times more profitable. So what do you do, AI company? You stop producing normal consumers RAM and start producing this HBM. Because why sell something for $50 when you can sell another for $500? And here the crisis begins. All of the manufacturers shift their production lines to HBM. So what happens? Less DDR4 and DDR5, PC users are still demanding RAM, the manufacturers and same investors want money. So what do? They raise prices hard, and that's why the RAM prices in the last 4 months have doubled, and even some kits went 4 times their price. Like literally 128GB stick RAMs can cost you $1.5 to $2K, a full powerful PC. Even in the used market, the prices are insane. Like DDR4 is sometimes more expensive than DDR5, which is absurd. But that still doesn't explain why don't they just produce more RAM. Remember, there are only 3 manufacturers that produce more than 19% of the RAM, and they've been like that since RAM was invented, and they shifted almost all their production lines to produce HBM, and building a new factory takes billions, years, and a lot of complicated machines. So just make more RAM isn't an option. So literally the situation right now is HBM is the priority, everything else is secondary, and the market is suffering. So how long this crisis is gonna last? Maybe a month, 2, 3, a year max? You're not ready. Some experts say 1 year. Others say that it can even last for 10 or 20 years. Yes, 10 to 20 years. That's a lot of years. Because AI is still evolving and it needs more RAM than the previous version. And prices can reach 10 times from what we used to pay. The problem is, it is getting worse. Even storage prices are being infected. Luckily not like the RAM, but you can feel a difference of $20 to $30. Because remember, AI equals data. RAM is moving them, but it needs in the end to be stored somewhere. So the prices of SSD storage are being pushed by the demand. Luckily, as I said, not a crisis yet, but it's starting. And in the end, what does all of this mean to us? If you want to build a PC or buy a pre-build, I'm sorry, waiting won't magically bring the prices down. And if they drop, it won't be anytime soon. RAM, the thing that we used to put it in the end of our list, is now the new gold of tech. Thank you for sticking with me and for watching the full video. If you have any questions, I will be honored to answer them in the comments section. In the end, hit that like button, subscribe, and see you in the next one.